It's wintertime on our homestead, and what that means, it's time to snowboard. And here in Ohio for the next 4 to 5 months, as long as it's cold and as long as there's snow, we're going to try and hit those slopes. Whether it's with my kids or with my friends, we try to take advantage of it because the season and the weather can fluctuate so much here in Ohio, New York, PA, even up to Vermont. What we're going to be reviewing today is the 159 Forum Roost all-mountain snowboard. We're going to be talking about the likes and dislikes of the board, bindings, and the boots, and how it all ties together, and then giving you an overall impression of would I recommend it or would I not recommend it at the end. Before we get to it, just a quick history for me. I started riding back in the late 90s. My first board was an avalanche snowboard. For those that remember those, it was basically a very stiff piece of plywood. It was twin tip, which was at the time something new. But I remember when I was 14 years old, I went to our local skate shop because everyone in the early 2000s was starting to skateboard. And I saw a Forum snowboard, the Forum Destroyer board, and I absolutely fell in love with that board. I saw the price tag and I said, I gotta figure out a way to make some money. So I spent the whole summer cutting grass, saving up so that I could buy the brand new Forum Destroyer boots, bindings, and board as the package. And I was super excited for that snowboard season to get out and ride. Before we get into the board, let's go and take a trip down memory lane and hit you with some nostalgia, and let's take a look at what I got in my garage, and hopefully it'll kind of hit the feels for, when you were younger as a snowboarder. So let's go to that right now.
Welcome to Nostalgia Lane. Check out that True Life original poster with that Destroyer board that has seen many, many miles of use, with that original Snowboard magazine ad for the Destroyer board. Love looking at this as a reminder of how much fun I had as a kid. My other one that I really loved was my Patmore snowboard. This had some crazy graphics on it. Loved it. Wish more companies would go back to this style of graphics, but this is where we're at in 2025. Alright, back to the video.
So yeah, definitely one of the cool things about nostalgia. I love the Destroyer brand. This is my old hoodie still from 2002. I have not gotten rid of it. I absolutely love wearing this when I go to the local mountain and just show off that nostalgia. It's got nothing left to it, but it still fits me from when I was a kid. And it's probably because it's been stretched out so much and it's faded. But yeah, Forum Destroyer hoodie. Who still got one of these from 2002? I bet you very few, if not none. All right, so on to the board. So this is the 159 all-mountain Forum Roost board. As a Forum fan, I was super disappointed when they kind of dissolved and were no more. And I know they went through some drama of what had happened over the years, but when I heard they were back and they had some of the original casts coming back, designing these boards, I got super excited. But I was cautious because some of the big companies that take over some of the smaller companies, they might be the smaller company brand, but it's these big companies just trying to push out junk, and you just don't know if the board's going to be that high of quality. So I started researching around, started listening to some podcasts. One that I definitely recommend is The Bomb Hole. If you're looking for nostalgia or having some of those pro riders that you looked up to as a kid, there's some really good discussions that come off that podcast, and one of them is some of the Forum guys that still ride or own Forum, and you can see them talking about the brand and kind of where they were and where they are today. But two channels that really helped make the decision to go with this board was the Riders Lounge, who did a great review on this board and a bunch of other all-mountain snowboards and doing a comparison, and that led me to deciding to choose to go with this board. Yeah, of course, I love the brand Forum, but I wasn't just going to buy it just because it was Forum. I wanted to make sure that it would fit my needs as a rider. And also the Angry Snowboarder, who helped pick out the bindings and the boots. Without these two channels, I probably would have had a harder time, pairing everything together. So definitely check out both those channels. I'll put a link in the bottom in the description for them as well. So talking about the board, 159 all-mountain Forum Roost board. The first thing I noticed right off the bat after getting on the slopes with it, it is a heavy board. It's an all-mountain board. I had no idea what to expect. Coming from a park board now to an all-mountain, when you're on the chairlift, and here in Ohio and PA, we don't have gondolas. We have regular chairlifts that you sit on. You have your one foot strapped into your binding and your other it's just dangling, right? So you feel the weight of this board on a chairlift. And I was like, man, this is a heavy board, which makes sense being an all-mountain board. The other thing I noticed is it's extremely stiff. It is a very stiff board. It does have flex to it, don't get me wrong, but compared to a park board, which needs a lot of flexibility because of the type of activities it's going to be doing, whether you're hitting big jumps, half pipe, or rails, you need to have that flexibility and versatility to that board versus an all-mountain board where you need to be able to have more of a stiffness for grabbing an edge on those sharp turns or when you're going fast or whatever it might be. Now there's some flexibility in the nose and tail if you want a nose butter or whatever it might be, or do a little spin, you can still do that. But if you're trying to hit big jumps and bring this thing up to you, you're going to feel that weight in your legs trying to pull it up to you. As far as the carving, this thing did fantastic carving. And in Ohio or New York, PA, we get hit with 5 different types of snow. We get slush, we get ice, we get some powder, we get compact, and we get machine groomed that is either man-made or natural. It's got to be able to handle all that type of weather because we constantly get freeze thaw throughout the winter time. It's not like being out in the mountains where you're consistently under 32 degrees for 4 months straight. We might get 4 months of winter out here, but it might be 32 to 40 degrees at times. You're getting that freeze thaw all the time. So this board had to be able to handle pushing through all that. I got 8 hours of sampling on this and it did fantastic pushing through all that. Never once did this board give out on me on really sharp carves, especially the heel edge, which is my favorite to do. Unlike the park boards where if you are trying to make sharp turns, you get a lot of vibration in the tail, and I'm a goofy rider, so the tail, a lot of vibration in the tail to the center, and if your legs are fatigued, you're going to end up sliding out from the back because you're really trying to keep that board from sliding out on you. With this all mountain, even the fastest I was going, hard carves, I was getting none of that vibration that I was used to with a park board, and my legs were not fatigued. I was able to continue riding for 8 hours, and never once was I tired with my legs from riding. These handled the vibration, absorbed it so well, which is great. The only dislike about the board, and it's not even anything from the engineering, is I just don't care for the graphics. I thought the graphics were kind of boring compared to what I'm used to getting from the Destroyer or the older style board, especially like the Pat Moore's. The graphics were pretty boring. I mean, this has a reflective in the light over here, but I was able to pair it with some stickers to kind of some decals and graphics to kind of make it my own. And I also find one of the old school Forum stickers, which I was really excited about to find on eBay. Of course, this year, the 2026 ones, the face is white and the backside is purple for the Roost, but they also have the JP Walker edition ones, which is pretty cool as well. But I wanted a new board, I wanted to test it out and review it, and here we are, so I got the 2025. I'm super happy with it. I like how it looks now, but initially I wasn't super excited about the graphics, but the review of how well the board performed was the selling point for me. Price-wise, you're looking at $620 new out the door. That's not on sale. They have a $159. I think they have a $162 as well for the size, but it's going to run you about $620 for just the board. Forum doesn't sell bindings or boots. They did like a special limited release maybe 2 years ago for I think bindings and boots with a collaboration with another company, but they don't make their own bindings or boots anymore. So it's going to be just the board and then clothing and accessories that you want. Talk about the bindings. There's so many to choose from, and it was really difficult for me to choose the right bindings. I had been out of the game for 10 years on all the different technology that changed, so I started looking at unions and kind of going on different forums and Reddits and reading from what other people were talking about. It seemed like the Union Force were the all-around best all-mountain style bindings, next to like the Atlas as well. So I ended up going with the Force bindings, and I do like them a lot. There are a lot of positives to it. There's a few negatives that we'll get into, but overall, the construction of the binding is super heavy duty. I like it. It's a heavy duty material. Nice material to this. The backing is hard, but it has some flexibility to it. So if you're doing a hard carve, but your legs are kind of twisting a little bit with that carve, the back is going to continue to mold with that. It's not just a solid piece. So it does have some flexibility to it, but if you're leaning back, doing a hard heel, it pulls that board back and you get a really great edge when you're doing a sharp turn. And it holds your leg and your boot to the backing really nice. It does adjust right here. I did have to do some adjustment to the binding to really make it fit for these boots. The one thing I don't like these straps. I don't like that it doesn't really fit the toe, at least for these Torrents. The Torrents aren't a true curved boot. It's almost like a squarish curve, and it just doesn't fit that well. And I actually had to adjust and bring out all the way on each side just to fit these boots in. This is the right binding size for the board and for the boots. And I don't really care for the rubber. I feel like the rubber over time, because I'm not going to replace my board for at least probably 5, if not 10 years, that this is going to dry rot and crack, and it's going to end up just breaking. Only time will tell, and I can't say for sure the molding of this, but it just feels cheap. Now those that are hardcore Union fans, I'm sure you'll argue that, and that's fine. I just don't care for it. It is a quick release, which is really nice. It never popped out on me. I felt secure the whole time in it. But I just don't like how it holds the toe, and I like a little beefier strap for the toe, but I was able to do toe and heel edge absolutely no problem. So these bindings are really nice, but I just wish the straps were a little different. For the base plate, there's a screw right here you would take out, and then you could pop this base plate off to get to the backing to where all your 4 screws are to hold the binding in, and then you can adjust it. I got a 15 degree and a -5 here for duck foot for riding. And then the toe section has a plate that angles upward a little bit. We'll call that 5 degrees to help for your carving when you're pushing down to go toe edge. Really brings that board closer for a nice sharp turn. So overall, bindings are great. They're going to run you $350 new. And these are the 2026 edition bindings, so $350, which I thought was reasonable because you can get up to the Pro Edition bindings that are running you $600, $700, $800 for bindings, which is just ridiculous in my opinion. But for just an average rider, someone that just all mountain, stuff like that, $350 I thought was reasonable for the equipment. We all know snowboarding is expensive. There's no way around it. For the boots, Ride Torrent. These things are amazing. I absolutely love these boots. The one funny selling point that they advertise on it, it's got Michelin grip on the bottom. If you're buying the boots because of that, like they got you, the marketing team won. I didn't care about that at all. I mean, it's cool because it's got, I guess, tread to it, but it's not because I didn't buy the boots because of that. I wanted to get it because of the double boa system. It had really good reviews. I'm not someone that tries on boots. I just research and read reviews, and you know, with the Angry Snowboarder and even the Rider Lounge reviewing these boots, ultimately I made the decision to go with these and try them out, and it was kind of a shot in the dark, hopefully liking them. Definitely love the double boa system to it. I only had a pinch point right here initially on your right foot when I had it tightened down, but after some time and breaking them in, that pressure point went away. Quick release with these, so you know, once you tighten them, quick release, you can loosen your boots very easily. It has another tying system in the front, and then a nice Velcro to hold your ankle and upper ankle in really well. So this held really well in. It is a little difficult to get into because there's so many different ways to tighten your put your foot in here. But once it's in, it seats really well, and your foot stays warm, and it's got good support for when you're going heel and toe edge with this. And no pressure points at the toes. Not once did they fall asleep or get cold or anything like that. So awesome boot. Got a nice protective liner right here. So if you have your board up against your foot, you know, if you're on a chairlift and you put the edge of the board that isn't strapped in on your toe, it's got a nice protective line right here, so you can put that edge there without having to ruin your boot to it. So definitely like this. These are going to run you brand new $620. They are definitely expensive. I was able to find these off season for about $410 roughly. But this whole package, brand new, not on sale, is going to run you about $1,600. And then on sale, if you can get this off season, I'm in it to about $1,200. So it's a lot of money, but it'll last me, 5 years at least. And when you break that down, that's really not that much. That's not that much money. So if you're looking at budgeting, just kind of keep an idea on that. Or if you're thinking maybe I'll get something for next year, start looking around March, April. Those sales start kicking in. There's some pretty good sales that come up on like Evo, or if your local shop. Definitely check your local shop first before you go to online. Support those guys always. So next we're going to swap over to some riding. Bear with me, it was just me filming. So we're going to take a look at this in action and some of the overall opinion while I was on the slope. We were in New York for 8 hours. So let's check that video out.
Alright guys, we're in Beacon Peak, New York. We're going to be doing a review on the Forum Roost board. It's a 159. I paired it with Union Force bindings. And I got my Ride Torrent boots associated with it. Forum is back. They've come up with some sweet concepts. This is a really nice board. It's definitely heavier than what I'm used to. So we're going to check it out, see how well it does with carving and just the overall performance of it. Alright, let's keep going. Heavier. Steep part. Overall Forum Roost, great edge, grabs really well.
Alright, well thanks for bearing with me on this. I know it was just me filming myself and kind of showing it off, the board itself. My overall thoughts is this is a great board and I like the package I put together with it. The bindings are fine. I would probably next time at least try and find them on sale, just to satisfy the issue with the straps. It's not even issues, it's just my own personal opinion. If you're a hardcore union guy, that's perfectly cool. It's just I would prefer a little beefier strap. That's it. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm gonna be taking this out west next month to Park City, so we're gonna check that out, see how well it does. But if anything, these boots are amazing, and the board for All Mountain is fantastic, and it does exactly what I need to do. If you are an East Coast rider, Ohio, Vermont, PA, New York, with all the different type of terrains that are thrown at us throughout from December to March, this board is going to do it, and it did a fantastic job. Never once was I worried about sliding out or falling or anything like that. So appreciate you guys watching this video. Hopefully this helps with some insight. Make sure to give those channels that I mentioned a look. If you're looking at really good detailed information and comparisons, they're going to be able to do that. But from an overall perspective, I definitely give this an 8 out of 10 package with everything, if not a 9 out of 10. I absolutely love this, and Forum is back, baby. And definitely support those guys because they are doing the right stuff and building some good equipment for us riders that love the nostalgia of the old school Forum. So if you like this video and you want to see more, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks everyone.